Take a long, hard look at the person staring back at you in the mirror tonight, because that stranger wearing your skin has been pushed into a psychological territory you never thought you would inhabit. You were the one with the high morals, the deep empathy, and the unshakable boundaries, yet here you are, wondering how you became a participant in a sexual dynamic that feels like a betrayal of your very soul. We are entering the dark, unmapped forest of the empath's sexual acting out, the deviant behaviors that emerge not from desire, but from a desperate, trauma-bonded survival instinct. This is the secret knowledge of how a narcissist rewires your most intimate self, turning your light into a chaotic storm of confusion and self-loathing. Have you ever caught yourself performing a role in the bedroom that felt like a script written by a monster, wondering why you didn't just say no? This isn't just about a lack of willpower. It is about the systematic dismantling of your identity by a master manipulator who knows exactly where your empathy bleeds. The big haunting question we are answering today is why the most grounded empaths often find themselves spiraling into deviant or out-of-character sexual behaviors when they are under the spell of a narcissist. You aren't broken or bad. You are in the middle of a biological hijacking where your need for connection has been weaponized against your own morality. Imagine a world-class musician being forced to play a broken instrument in a basement while a critic screams that they are the one out of tune. That is what it feels like when a narcissist forces you into their distorted version of intimacy. They don't want a partner, they want a co-conspirator in their own internal darkness. The terrible thing is that because you feel so much, you begin to absorb their shadow, convincing yourself that if you just go far enough with them, you can finally reach the human being you think is hiding underneath. You are trading your dignity for a ghost of a connection, and the price is a version of yourself you no longer recognize. The cinematic reality of this situation is a slow-motion car crash of the spirit. You once viewed intimacy as a sacred bridge, but the narcissist has turned it into a cage where the bars are made of your own shame. They push you to cross lines you never wanted to cross, using love bombing as the bait and devaluation as the whip. You find yourself engaging in behaviors that feel deviant to your own nature, not because you enjoy them, but because you are trying to hysterical bond with a predator who is already halfway out the door. You are gasping for air in a vacuum, and you are using your body as the only currency you have left to buy a second of their attention. We are pulling back the heavy, dark curtain on the trauma-induced fetishization that occurs in narcissistic relationships. Most survivors are too ashamed to speak about the ways their sexuality changed during the abuse. You might have found yourself seeking intensity over intimacy, or accepting things that felt wrong just to avoid the silent treatment. This isn't your true nature, it is a somatic response to the terror of abandonment. The narcissist has groomed your nervous system to associate their approval with your submission. You are being conditioned like a lab rat in a maze, and your deviance is actually a frantic attempt to find the reward of a love that never existed. Let's be blunt, the narcissist is a sexual arsonist who wants to see your boundaries burn. They find a sick pleasure in watching a pure empath participate in their dark fantasies because it proves their dominance over your soul. If they can get you to do things you find repulsive, they have successfully deleted your autonomy. You are no longer a person in their eyes, you are an extension of their disordered desires. This extraction of your morality is the ultimate supply for them. They aren't looking for pleasure, they are looking for corruptive power. They want to see the healer get their hands dirty in the mud of the narcissist's internal void. Think of your sexuality as a sacred frequency that has been jammed by a malevolent signal. When you are with a narcissist, your vibration is being dragged down to their level. You start to believe that intense pain or degradation is actually intensity of love. This is the Stockholm Syndrome of the bedroom. You are bonding with your captor through the very act that should set you free. The narcissist watches your confusion with a clinical detachment, feeding on the fact that they have broken the unbreakable. You are acting out because your soul is trying to scream through your body, but the words are being lost in the noise of the abuse. The big haunting question remains, why does it happen so fast? It's because the narcissist identifies your empathic holes, those places where you crave validation, and they fill them with toxic intimacy. They move the boundaries an inch at a time until you are a mile away from your own values. By the time you realize you are lost, the shame has already set in, and the narcissist uses that shame as a leash. They tell you that you are the one who wanted this, making you doubt your own memory. This is sexual gaslighting, and it is designed to keep you trapped in a loop of self-blame, so you never look at the person actually pulling the strings. Do not turn away from this truth, because awareness is the only way to break the seal on this prison. You have to realize that the deviance you participated in was a survival tactic of a nervous system under siege. You were numbing out to the abuse by leaning into the intensity. This is the secret knowledge that narcissists fear you'll discover. Your acting out was never about your character, it was about your trauma. We are going to show you how the narcissist installed these behaviors and how you can uninstall them to reclaim your body as your own. You are not dirty, you were just used as a canvas for someone else's rot. This first chapter is your sovereignty check. The narcissist bet everything on the idea that your shame would keep you silent forever. They lost the bet the moment you decided to seek the truth. As we move into the psychological breakdown, we are going to strip away the dark magic of the narcissist's grooming. We are going to show you the mechanical void behind their requests and the panic they feel when you start to wake up mid-act. Hold onto your breath. We are going to dive into the deep, dark water of your biological truth together. The empath is about to find their voice, and the predator is about to lose their power. To understand the psychological breakdown of the narcissist's sexual agenda, you have to realize they are biohacking your empathy. A narcissist doesn't experience arousal through connection, they experience it through control. When they ask an empath for deviant behavior, they are conducting a compliance test. They want to see if your love for them is stronger than your respect for yourself. Every time you yield a boundary, the narcissist gets a dopamine hit of omnipotence. They aren't looking for mutual joy. They are looking for proof that they can overwrite your internal operating system. You are a hardware they are trying to reprogram. Metaphorically, the narcissist is a spiritual vandal who wants to spray paint their name on the walls of your inner temple. They choose an empath because your temple is beautiful and high vibration. They want to see if they can drag the sacred into the profane. Their requests for out-of-character intimacy are tactical strikes against your self-esteem. They know that if they can get you to betray yourself in the bedroom, you will be too ashamed to stand up to them in the kitchen, the living room, or the courtroom. Your sexual acting out is the master key they use to unlock every other boundary in your life. Their hidden motive is internalized devaluation. The narcissist hates the fact that you are pure and good. By involving you in deviance, they are leveling the playing field. They want to be able to look at you and say, "You're just as bad as me." This projection allows them to escape their own shame by dumping it into you. You are being used as a psychic trash can for their repressed perversions and self-loathing. They perform the act, but you are the one who carries the weight of it the next morning. They walk away refreshed by the theft, while you are drowning in the residual shadow. We must discuss the narcissistic void as a black hole of boredom. Narcissists are emotionally anesthetized. They can't feel the softness of a normal connection, so they crave the extreme. They push for deviant behaviors because normal intimacy makes them feel nothing. They are sensation junkies who use your empathy as the adrenaline for their cold ego. They want to see your shock, your reluctance, or your hysterical compliance because your intensity is the only thing that wakes them up. You are the conductor for a charge they cannot produce on their own. You are fuel for a dead engine. Imagine a predator that feeds on the sound of the prey trying to sing a love song. That is the narcissist in the bedroom. They want you to act out because it scrambles your signal. When you are in a state of sexual confusion, you cannot think straight. You cannot identify the abuse. The deviance creates a psychological fog that masks the lack of soul in the relationship. You are bonding to the chaos because the chaos feels like passion. But it's not passion, it's dysregulation. The narcissist is shaking the jar to keep the empath from settling into the truth of their emptiness. Their internal chaos is a storm of insecurity that they manage through domination. When they get an empath to perform, they are silencing the voices that tell them they are inadequate. It is a compulsive ritual to prove their worth. If a high-value empath like you will do these things for them, they must be special. They are using your body to argue with their own void. The terrible thing is that they are winning the argument at your expense. Your submission is the medication for their personality disorder, and they are overdosing on your spirit. You are the prescription they will discard once the hit wears off. Let's look at the metaphor of the mirror. The narcissist uses the deviant act to break the mirror. They don't want to see you, they want to see their influence over you. If they see you being yourself, they feel invisible. If they see you acting like them, they feel powerful. Your acting out is the feedback loop that keeps their false self alive. They are addicted to the sight of your compliance. It is a cinematic triumph for their ego. They have conquered the empath, and the bedroom is the victory parade. They are parading your shame to cover their own nothingness. The narcissist is a frequency parasite who feeds on the disharmony of your nervous system. When you do something that contradicts your morals, your vibration shatters. This shattering produces a burst of energy that the narcissist drinks like fine wine. They induce the deviance specifically to break your frequency. They want you in a low vibration state because that is the only place they can survive. In the light of your truth, they evaporate. In the darkness of your acting out, they rule. They are keeping the lights off so you don't realize they are nothing and you are everything. There is also the tactical discard preparations. The narcissist often pushes for deviance right before they discard you. They want to leave you with a memory that makes you hate yourself. If they leave you while you are in a state of moral crisis, you are less likely to expose them. You will be too busy processing the shame to tell the truth about the abuse. This is strategic silencing. They are installing a muzzle made of internalized guilt. They want to be the only one who knows the real you, so that you feel unworthy of anyone else's real love. They are caging your future. This psychological breakdown reveals that the deviance was never about sex, it was about sovereignty. The narcissist stole your vote in the bedroom. The terrible thing is that they made you believe you voted for it. But as we move into the dramatic turning point, you are going to see what happens when the empath wakes up to the theft. You are going to see the predator realize that the host is no longer providing the energy. The power shift is coming, and it begins with the death of the shame. You are about to see the empath clean the mirror and walk away with their soul intact. The dramatic turning point begins with a cold, hard realization that hits you in the middle of a performance. You are acting out, you are complying, you are doing the thing, and suddenly you observe yourself from the ceiling. You see the narcissist's face, and for the first time, you don't see passion, you see boredom and calculation. This is the psychological plot twist. The mask doesn't just slip, it dissolves. You realize that the sacrifice you are making is meaningless. You are casting your pearls before swine, and the swine is unimpressed. The power inverts in a single heartbeat of cold clarity. Watch the narcissist's panic when their primary hook, your desperate need to connect, suddenly disconnects. You stop performing. You stop crying. You stop explaining. You just look at them with the clinical indifference of a coroner examining a dead body. This lack of reaction is a nuclear strike on the narcissist's ego. They scream, they shame, they provoke, but the empath is gone. You are physically there, but the light has moved out of their reach. The predator is gasping for the air of your energy, but the vacuum is closed. The hunt is over. This is the moment of internal sovereign alignment. You realize that their perversion is theirs, and your reaction was trauma, not truth. You hand the shame back to the sender. You seal the energetic leaks in your biology. The next time the narcissist demands the deviance, you say no with a finality that freezes their blood. You aren't angry, you are resolved. This icy boundaries is the final divorce of the soul. The narcissist realizes they can no longer access the temple. They are exiled from your intimacy, and they are terrified of the silence that follows. Detail the dramatic reactor failure of the narcissist's grooming engine. They try to love bomb you to reset the program, but you see the wires. They try to triangulate you with new supply who is willing to do the deviance, but you bless the discard. Please, take them. I'm done. This lack of jealousy is a lethal wound to a narcissist. It debunks their grandiosity. If you don't fight for them, they have no value. You are devaluing the abuser by valuing your own sovereignty. You are walking away from the black hole, and the gravity no longer holds you. The plot twist deepens. The empath realizes that the deviance was actually a dark gift. It was the extreme that forced the awakening. If they had been mildly toxic, you might have stayed for 40 years. But because they pushed too far, they broke the spell. Their greed for your soul was their downfall. They overplayed their hand. By demanding your morality, they triggered your spirit to fight back. The sexual acting out was the final threshold that you refused to cross, and in that refusal, you found your identity. The predator accidentally created a warrior. They attempt a malignant hoover through sexual coercion or threats of exposure. I'll tell everyone what you did. But the recovered empath is immune to blackmail. Tell them I was trauma bonded to a monster. I don't care. This total loss of reputation fear is the narcissist's endgame failure. They have no more weapons. They are pacing the perimeter of your new life, screaming at a house that is iron-plated with truth. You have exorcised the shame, and without the shame, the narcissist has no hook. They are irrelevant. Show the shift in the energetic signature of the bedroom. It is no longer a slaughterhouse, it is a no-fly zone. You reclaim your sheets, your scent, and your body. You wash away the residue of the parasite. The narcissist senses this reclamation and it triggers their annihilation anxiety. They feel like they are disappearing because you are no longer noticing them. They lash out with a smear campaign, but the smear doesn't stick to your new frequency. You are vibrating at a level of authenticity that dissolves the lie on contact. You are sovereign. Psychological shift. You forgive the traumatized version of yourself for acting out. You realize that the deviance was the body's way of handling the unbearable. You breathe love into the parts of you that were used. This self-compassion is the final seal. The narcissist depends on you hating yourself to stay connected. By loving yourself, you execute the trauma bond. You are healing at the atomic level. The predator is exiled to the outer darkness where there is wailing and gnashing of teeth. They are dead to you. This is the moment of total detachment. You see the narcissist as a malfunctioning biological program. They are no longer a dark king or a femme fatale. They are a parasite that needs a host. And you are not the host. The turning point is absolute. You are inhabiting your own life with an intensity that is terrifying to the narcissist. You are radiant. You are steady. You are home. The power shift is complete. You are the master now. The narcissist is just a distant noise in a quiet universe. You have reclaimed the sacred. As we move into the collapse, remember, the narcissist depends on your chaos to stay animated. By being solid, you have deleted their existence in your universe. They are going to panic. They are going to burn their own world down to get your attention. But you are no longer the firefighter. You are watching the fire from the high ground, safe in your sovereignty. We are about to witness the total internal collapse of the abuser as they realize that the empath they used has finally, irrevocably reclaimed their light. The consequences are lethal for the ghost. The collapse of the narcissist is a scientific certainty when the host becomes toxic. When the empath stops acting out and starts speaking the truth, the narcissist's programming has no place to hide. They experience narcissistic mortification. They lose the mirror they thought they had cracked permanently. They are obsessed with your refusal to be ashamed. They stalk your recovery with a hateful focus. Every second of your self-respect is a stab to their fragile ego. They are collapsing because your dignity is the evidence of their evil. Their social consequences are swift and public. As the recovered empath speaks with cold clarity about the sexual coercion and the psychological grooming, the narcissist's lies start to evaporate. People start seeing the pattern of the withered victims they leave behind. You are the witness who survived the autopsy. The narcissist is losing their grip on their image. They are exposed as the small, needy entity that needs a victim's shame to feel powerful. They are isolated in the biohazard they created for you. They are locked in a body that hates itself. The internal panic of the narcissist becomes a manic screaming for new skin. They scramble to find someone else to electrocute, someone else to cripple. But they are sloppy. They are transparent. Their predatory aura is foul and visible to everyone who has healed their own signal. They are failing at their conquests. They are starving for the high-grade empathy your sacred body used to provide, but the pharmacy of your flesh is permanently closed. They are choking on the dust of their own biological failures. They are fading. Watch the harsh truth of their new life. They look old. They look gray. They look brittle. The life force they stole from you has expired, and they have no internal reactor. They are cursed to repeat the same loop with lesser and lesser souls until they devolve into a primal state of need. They are trapped in a body that is closing down, haunted by the memory of the Owen who got away and found the sun. They are obsessed with the fact that you are vibrant. Their rage has no target, so it turns inward, eating the last of their humanity. The tone is brutally cold and analytical. The narcissist is a parasite that underestimated the sovereignty of the empath. By moving on physically and spiritually, you have executed the predator. They are walking dead, carrying the corpse of their own ego. They hate you for surviving their sexual warfare. They hate you for being whole in a world they told you was a killing floor. Every breath of peace you take is a poison to their existence. They are collapsing into the center of their own nothingness. The final discard was yours. Internal panic leads to pathological stalking of your physical reality. They analyze your every activity, searching for a sign of shame, a sign of collapse. But they find nothing but strength. This strength is traumatic to the narcissist. It debunks their God complex. It proves they are just a glitch in your evolution. They are screaming from the shadows, trying to cast a spell that your nervous system no longer decodes. They are irrelevant. This irrelevance is the final consequence of their evil. They wanted to be remembered as a god, but they will be forgotten as a malfunction. The social discard concludes with the final isolation. The flying monkeys start to see the monster. Your health has exposed the lie. The narcissist is left alone in the toxic environment they designed for you. This irony is perfect justice. They are terrified of the world because the world now knows the stench of their soul. They are the ones who are locked in now, locked in a mind that hates the flesh, locked in a heart that is cold, and locked in a life that is empty. The collapse is total. The predator is inert. Brutally truthful analysis. The narcissist failed because they underestimated the primal intelligence of the spirit. They thought they could starve the empath's morality, but they only forced the empath to hibernate. Once you wake up and forgive yourself, you are invisible to their manipulation. The narcissist is a shadow that cannot exist in the presence of your physical truth. They are disintegrating. The acting out was your incubation phase, and you have emerging with new skin. You have inverted the trauma into vitality. The narcissist is a dead signal. Intensify the collapse. You watch their destruction with a sense of sacred justice. You don't feel vengeance, you feel order. You see that the world is actually safe because you are the one who commands your biological energy. The narcissist's rage is a distant noise that no longer triggers your adrenaline. You are healing at a speed they cannot match. You are living at a depth they cannot reach. The collapse is the final closing of the sexual narrative. The monster is dead, and the sanctuary is quiet. As we enter the final truth, look at the ruin of the abuser and realize you are the final truth. The deviance was just a testing phase. You have found the key. You have opened the door. You have walked into the world and your spirit embraced you. The final truth is cinematic, empowering, and saturated with radiance. The collapse is complete. The sunrise is spiritual. You are free to build a world where predators are nothing but ghosts in the distance. You are the ONE. We have reached the final truth, the cinematic closing where the hooks of the past are melted by the heat of your presence. The final truth is this: your acting out was never you. It was the shadow of the predator cast upon your soul. Today, the sun has risen, and the shadow has nowhere to hide. You have realized that you are the master of your own territory. You don't need permission to be clean, to be whole, or to be sacred. You are sovereign. The deviance was just the final winter before a permanent spring. Emotional closure comes from the absolute knowledge that the narcissist could never own your spirit unless you agreed to the contract of shame. Today, you are tearing up the contract. You are closing the case file on the predator. You have realized that their requests were confessions of their own hollowness. You are moving. You are evolving. You are no longer searching for healing from predators. You are healing yourself by the fact that you can feel, you can forgive, and you can stand again. The verdict is total independence. Healing is the cinematic slow burn of spiritual re-entry. It is the feeling of the light reaching the bottom of your soul, the sound of your conscience as a steady drum, and the sight of a future that is pure. You are reprogramming your biology to expect safety. You are learning that empathy is a spiritual superpower, not a weakness. You are finding your soul. You are building a life that is so authentic and so rich that the memory of the narcissist feels like a B-movie you watched in a different body. You are the sovereign. Empowerment is the quiet strength of the empath who refuse to stay defined by the predator. You have seen the bottom of the abyss and you brought back the fire. You are unshakable. The narcissist's screams from the shadows are just background noise in the symphony of your life. You have changed the frequency. You are tuned in to the voice of the universe, to the pulse of the earth, and to the truth of your own value. You have reclaimed your power, and you are using it to heal the world. You are a warrior. The final line is being written in the light. You are part of a global awakening of sovereign empaths who are retraining their spirits to reoccupy the world. We are collective strength. We are spiritually invincible. The narcissist's obsession with your body was the last stand of a dying parasite. The age of the predator is ending. The age of the authentic is beginning. You are a pioneer of the soul. Your voice is a siren of truth for others who are still in the shadows. You are calling them out. Imagine the final scene. You are standing on a mountain peak at dawn. The wind is blowing through your spirit, cleansing the last traces of the abuser's shadows. Below you, the dark valley of the narcissistic trap is dissolving in the light. Above you, the sky is exploding with colors you can finally see again. You are whole. You are complete. You are indifferent. The narcissist is a name you can barely remember, a face you no longer recognize. You breathe in the clean air of freedom, and you never look back. The narcissist is now a distant ghost, stalking the ruins of a mind they burnt. They are screaming at the wind, begging the dust to become the host again. But the dust stays dust. You are flesh and blood, light and fire, moving at the speed of joy. You have found your tribe. You have found your peace. You have found your soul. The acting out of the survivor was the cocoon of the butterfly. The credits are rolling. The theater is empty. The light is permanent. The narcissist tried to kill the empath's morality because they were terrified of what would happen if the soul saw through the grooming. They wanted to keep you as their internal slave, but the slave exploded into a king. You are magnificent. You are unstoppable. You have won the game by walking off the field. You have ascended beyond the manipulation. You are the truth. You are the way. You are the life. The deviance was the fog, and you are the sun. Reclaim your space. Reclaim your voice. Reclaim your right to walk the earth with confidence and dignity. The sexual killer, the psychological parasite, and the emotional arsonist have no power here. You are generating your own frequency now, and it is a frequency of freedom, justice, and radiance. Use it to warm your own life. Use it to create beauty. Use it to love deeply with others who vibrate at your level. You are a generator of universal light. The narcissist pushed you into the dark to break your spirit, but they accidentally showed you that an empath soul is made of the very light that can melt even the heaviest chains of shame. Go forth and live with the intensity that was meant to be yours all along. The act is over, the mask is shattered, and you are finally, irrevocably free.